Hi, Kevin Henry, the Group Editorial Director for UBM Medica's Dental Division, and I'm on a Google Hangout this morning with my friend and the front desk lady, Lisa Marie Spradley. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, Kevin. Good morning.
Thanks for taking a few minutes to chat. I always appreciate it and always look forward to your insight.
Well, thank you. I love being here.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the micromanager in the dental practice. I know that that's something that a lot of team members out there deal with on a daily basis. Sometimes it could be the dentist, sometimes it could be the office manager.
Mhm.
There's a lot of folks who think they're better at something than you are, and they don't mind hopping in there. So, tell me a little bit about some of your past experiences with micromanagers and maybe some advice that you might give to our audience.
Oh, Kevin, I'll be happy to. As a matter of fact, I can tell you about some stories I've heard about and then about my own personal experience. There's a fine line between being a manager and being a good leader, a great leader. And I think the manager tends to want to try to tell everyone how to do something. As a matter of fact, I recently heard of a story of a dentist. He's got a relatively newer hygienist that he brought in, and she went to do a perio case, and this dentist, not feeling comfortable, I guess, with her skills, just instead of just numbing up the patient, he actually did all of the treatment. And when the hygienist was approached later about how that made her feel, she felt a little bit like she wasn't capable of doing it, like he didn't have confidence in her. And when we were talking about this, the person that was telling me said that they really expressed to the hygienist the need for them to, let the doctor know that. Let them know that, you've hired me. I would really like the opportunity to be able to show you that I can do the work. The fear there is that if you do that, then the person that you're hiring, you can have a great team member. Maybe they need some more experience, yes, but they're not going to stick around if they don't feel like you're going to give them the opportunity to do their job. So, and it goes the front and the back. I think about when I was first, becoming a manager and the people that I would have, hire up front. And we all know that when you're hiring a team member, it seems like you go through a lot before you find just that right one. I guess maybe if I had used the tools that were available, like DISC, more often, I could have found a better fit. But you tend to go with your gut a lot. And I would bring people in, and, I was guilty of, I asked them to do it my way, and I didn't want to see it any other way. And if I saw them doing something wrong, I immediately jumped in and tried to correct them. And maybe sometimes it was called for, but most of the time not. When you're micromanaging, you're really just not giving that team member the opportunity to show their stuff. So I think that really it's very important that you have to learn how to lead and not manage. There's a great book out there called the 1 Minute Manager. Oh, I don't know if I have the name of that right. Do you know the book I'm referring
I
to?
think I do, and I think that's it. You're right.
Yes, it is an awesome book. And I tell you, after I read that, I really discovered a lot of things that I was doing wrong that I could correct.
So you think it's important then for the team members to actually have that maybe uncomfortable conversation, but say, "Look, you hired me for a job. Please let me do it." Right?
Oh, yes, most definitely. How can it goes both ways? Communication goes both ways, right? So the dentist or the manager, they don't realize that they're overstepping their boundaries. They just think they're doing their job, because no one can do it as well as I can, right? So until someone actually calls them out, but in a good way, you want to do this positively. Just walking up and saying, "Hey, I really appreciate you're trying to help me out, but I would have really liked the opportunity to have, tried to do it myself first." And then this way, you're not automatically beating someone down, but you are letting them know, "Hey, next time, let me show you what I can do."
I'm curious because you said that you kind of were a little bit of a micromanager yourself. Did anyone have that approach with you, and did they kind of approach you and say, "Hey, let me try it my way," or how would you have reacted to that if somebody had?
Actually, I was approached when I was doing an exit interview. So I had a young lady that I had hired on, and time wise and probably a little bit of me, it just didn't work out. And when we did the exit interview, I said, "Well, what did I do to help contribute to this, or what could I have done better? And she said, you know, Lisa, I wish you would have let me do more. She said, I really feel like I could have done more if you would have, you know, given me the opportunity. That's a huge eye-opening moment. It's also very humbling because, you know, we don't ever want to think of ourselves doing that which we're telling everyone else not to do. So I really did. I learned to take a huge step back, and I have to tell you, the people I have working for me now, they do a wonderful job. So I'm out of the office a lot, and you know, they can handle it. I come back and it's wonderful. So you'll enjoy it. I promise you'll enjoy it when you learn to trust others.
That's cool. And then, last point I wanted to make is that I heard one time that if you really put it in a business perspective, the dentist is the highest paid member of the team. And for he or she to be doing things that they've hired team members to do, it's really not good for the business of the practice. I mean, if you really boil it down to the practice is a business, and if your
Yeah.
highest paid employee is doing things that a lower paid employee should be doing, it just doesn't make sense, right?
Oh, you're absolutely right. And I mean, if you sit down and think about all the money and time that the dentist has invested to become a dentist, and then they want to micromanage, you know, they don't just micromanage the clinical side. I'm sure Dana can tell you they micromanage the office side a lot too. And I want our dentists to be involved in what's going on. Most definitely. I want them to know about it, but I don't want them to think that they need to do it themselves. And I've actually spoken to dentists recently. She told me that she didn't have an office manager because she didn't want anyone to have that much power. And she didn't want them to think that they had that much control over the practice. And while I understand, you know, as I said, wanting to be over everything and know what's going on, I guess is a better way to put it. You shouldn't want to do everything to the exclusion that you don't have time for a life. I mean, how are you enjoying what you do if you're so busy trying to put out everyone else's fires too?
Great words as always, my friend. I appreciate it. And tell our viewers if they want to get a hold of you for more information or to learn some tips on how to let go a little bit in the practice, how would they find you?
Well, you can find me at frontdesklady.com, or you can email me at lisamarie@frontdesklady.com. Fairly easy there. And I'm going to be out on the road a lot in the months ahead. So, if you get my newsletter, I'll be happy to share all those dates and places with you.
And they can sign up for your newsletter on your website, right?
Yes, there's a spot there.
That's perfect. All right, my friend, as always, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.